It's Friday at last and you can let rip. This is The Week That Was. I'm Simon Brown. My co-host is Giulietta Talevi, joining us as we shuffle through the debris. Sasfin Securities, David Shapiro, Vestact's Khumalo, and everyone's back as a team. It's been a while. Hello, welcome back. And markets are tearing. Hey, even our local markets are close to a high.
We are new high.
We didn't hold it.
Didn't hold, unfortunately.
No, and the US markets making new highs, and they're going to continue to make new highs into the latter part of the year because everybody who was caned in the first half are suddenly turning bullish, and we've got underexposure to equities at a time where rates are going to come down. So I just think that you're just going to surf into the second half of the year.
Wasn't there some hotshot JP Morgan strategist who's been booted out because he took a very bearish view on the S&P 500?
Yeah,
That's what you do with bears.
Whatever.
You know, it was continual, that's why. It wasn't only once. I think he was bullish in 2022 and then bearish in 23 and 24, which is the wrong way around.
Yeah.
You know, you should have been bearish in 22 and bullish in 23 and 24.
But also, I mean, Bright, what we are seeing, and I was looking at some of the Walmarts and the Johnson & Johnsons and Disney's, in other words, the other 490 stocks.
Yeah.
And those people are taking pain. And to David's point, I can't help thinking that at some point they're going to cut that and go and buy NVIDIA.
I'm doing that.
There we go.
I don't know if they're taking pain per se. The ones you've actually mentioned are the ones that are actually holding up and doing well. Healthcare also is on a tear. So it's if you are big, if you're a mega cap, you're okay. So call it top 10, top 20.
Nike's not a mega cap anymore.
No.
Nike has not been a mega cap for a long time, unfortunately.
We've got to discuss Nike with Mr. Bright because he's got to explain what the new trend in sneaker shoes are.
Well, he hasn't been buying enough patently.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to explain that, but I was still very much exposed to Nike myself, even though I saw the trend. It's unfortunate.
But can I ask the dumb question, which is, okay, so the 490 stocks in the S&P 500 have been ignored.
Yeah.
What if they start suddenly getting a bid? Doesn't that, and what would it take for them to catch a bid?
I think it's still an AI world. It's still where the money's going to be spent. And the more we're cynical about it, the more it's going to catch us on the wrong foot us. Because when you start to read how companies are using it, you know, actually using it, you realize how big this is and how big it's going to be in their lives. We can't get our heads around it. But Bright might be the youngest person here. Simon's probably good. I don't know where you come. I'm still out of it myself. Still learning. But I think the more I read about how businesses are using it, the more you realize how this is going to kind of alter the course.
I know people say AI is going to be ubiquitous, but when you ask them really what does that mean, they don't really actually have a way to tell you how AI. But if I go back into the big rally of, say, 2015 all the way through to 2019, that was driven by cloud. You remember that?
Yeah.
And then obviously the late bloomers came into cloud in 2020. That was forced. So this is sort of that sort of thing where, you know, if you have the cash to spend on AI to, I don't know, make your business better, you do it. But at some point, there's going to be, you know, a point of no return, you know, where you're forced to get in here or you're not. Otherwise, your business doesn't progress enough because your competitors are just doing better numbers than you.
There's the easy way.
That's the ubiquitous I see as a, you know, comparable, a parallel to what happened to cloud. Because which business is not in cloud now?
Just call it Nike AI. Problem solved.
Well, I thought about that, but that's not going to cut it. We're going to talk about
the trends because people are going Adidas Samba. You know, they're no longer going Air Force One.
Except Rishi Sunak killed it. Although he's out now, but we'll talk about that. Also making news this week, it's been a humdinger on the electoral front. Keir Starmer storms the Conservatives' citadel. Macron is punished at the polls, and old Joe Biden's got a Lady Macbeth problem. And we in Gauteng have the horror of an entirely unhumbled Panyaza Lesufi. The US Supreme Court is channeling some kingly throwback in its latest presidential immunity ruling. Roaring Kitty is sued for securities fraud, and it's been 101 days without load shedding, while Joburg City Power ups the non-services ante. Vestact sets the minimum wage gold standard. Bidvest isn't keen on banking, and pity the scone baker who serves the Wimbledon hordes. But first, how are we feeling about our freshly hatched new, looking less like a muscled beast and more like a push me, pull you, or maybe just a messy fruit salad?
This fruit salad that was dished up for us is very good for growth. and can be very good for growth. And it can be very, very good for the health of our economy, for the health of our country. I think we just need to keep in mind, 1 or 2 bad apples might spoil the whole fruit salad for us.
Now, I don't know if it's, well, there's the point about bad apples. There's also the point about the people wanting to rein others in. So
Yes, stop working so hard.
Stop working so hard. You're showing us all up. We have to have a collective discussion and a cabinet lechotla and blah-de-blah. And you think, okay, it's the slowest person in the class.
But that's
and
what
this is
they
what South
voted
Africa
against.
Is. I
Don't
know.
they realise it?
And
Hasn't
the ANC
anybody
maintains this attitude that they are in charge.
They voted against non-service delivery.
There's actually a term of this.
Non-service delivery.
Yeah, there's a term of this in economics. Economics has a word for everything, by the way. It's, what is it? The free rider problem. So when things are supposed to go forward, there's a few that, you know, shirk their responsibilities. And when those, the people that are doing well, you know, obviously stand out, they're like, no, don't do that. You're going to put all of us back. Then the whole cart goes back. It's exactly what's going on here.
But it is, and it is the canoe, which is, it's not even a week old yet. I mean, our ministers have all just been sworn in. And it's, I mean, can it hold for 5 years? That's the trick.
No, so it's, obviously they still want to be working around the whole canoe thing, but what's really going to happen is that whole vote of no confidence on Panyaza Lesotho is a perfect example here. And we're going to go back to coalition governments that we saw in the past, which is what we're trying to avoid.
Well, what we have in Joburg right now.
Exactly. So that's what's going to happen. It's going to be, you know, that vote and another of that vote, because no one is going to be happy. So, but if he had done the right thing from the beginning and allocate seats according to votes, maybe it would have been fine.
I wonder how that's going to play out in the 2026 local government elections. So either it's a massive miscalculation by the ANC or it's a miscalculation by the DA, but somehow I really think
someone
the
is going
DA
to
has acted correctly in this case, with regards to
Well, I'm
Gauteng,
not taking
per se.
sides. I don't like them both. Someone is dragging someone down here, whether it's the ANC dragging down the DA or the DA dragging down the ANC. It's going to be, you know, in whatever year you said in the voting stations, we'll see the outcome of that. And I'll be surprised if it's still split the same way it was split currently. I'll be very surprised, because someone is going to lose their reputation.
And I think we know it. I mean, I can't, I mean, with this 200 Rand charge, so suddenly my electricity bill's 200 Rand more.
Yeah,
that is 100 million a month that city council is making just because they're so useless at their job that they need to rip us.
I am so angry at that because I recently got, you know, I got solar many moons ago, but I moved from the system where they were charging me a service fee for doing absolutely nothing. Now they're still charging me the same service fee after I got my
So
own.
it's your fault.
After I got my own box.
We have to riot. There's a
This
public
is a cause for a riot.
But it
Yes,
comes
I-
back to
People,
Giulietta's
let's
point.
riot.
2016. I mean, the ANC think they did poorly in Gauteng now. They must wait for 2026. They're going to see their banana. They will come forth.
People are angry, and I think
They're
one-
not angry enough. People in Kenya are angry. We're not angry.
Okay.
Yes.
The man has spoken. Would you rather take Joe Biden over Panyaza Lesotho? You bet. You're putting money in the old stallion. Is looking more and more like a democratic death wish for everyone except Joe Biden.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with the with the COVID. Excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if we finally beat Medicare.
Not to mention the squabble over their golf swing.
I took 2 tests, cognitive tests. I aced them, both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart, and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way.
Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. The reason I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf. You can carry your own bag.
Absolute liar. If he has a handicap of 6, then I'm Tiger Woods.
But when you're
Khumalo.
vice president, all you do is play golf, don't you?
So, okay, let's talk about the first clip that showed Joe Biden wandering off into, and subsequently, and people talk about him as a stubborn man, and he seems to be stubborn here, but it's very disturbing for the Democratic Party as a whole if he's going to persist in his
It's strange that I've got two doctor friends who both believe that he's got Parkinson's. His actions, his face, in other words, a non-expression, the way that he walks, that he's almost needs to be given a push to get the motor going. You know, this is just people who are non-political when they look at him. And I think the fact that he stammered, that one thing where he couldn't grasp what he was going to say.
He has a stutter. He does have a stutter.
Now, this wasn't the stutter. He did that. Mitch McConnell, you know, just went blank.
Oh, well, yeah.
And it's time, because we're going to have him in 4 years' time. You know, that's why Trump is just looking, saying, I don't have to do anything. He's going to defeat himself.
It did, because there's fights amongst the Dems of what to do next, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, okay.
So do you
wonder
do you
if-
think he will stand down, though? Do you think the Democratic pressure will be
you
enough?
know, the
or do you
problem
think-
If his family loved him, he would have didn't even start to
Sounds
go
like
there.
Jill Biden likes the trappings
He
of the
wouldn't
White
have
House.
even done 4 years ago.
But there are
Yeah.
too many people in Team Biden, in other words, who are going to lose their positions and jobs and all of that. That's the big worry. That's why they continue.
My closing comment, when you say Team Biden, is talking about the close to $200 million that they raised for the campaign. So if, apparently how it works in the US, if he has to step down, and that money, I don't know it goes where, but
It goes to Kamala.
yeah, and I don't think they want her as president yet.
And very quickly, speaking of choices, would you have Keir over Liz Truss? You bet. So very quickly, it's a stampede for
It's
the
a
Labour
whipping.
right.
And hope starts with that one kid from Somerset who dares to believe that the future belongs to her. And with Labour, it will. Because I promise this, whether you voted for me or not, I will serve every person in this constituency. The mothers I sat with who've lost children to knife crime. The pensioners who can't get the doctor's appointments they desperately need.
It's a whipping.
It wasn't whipping enough. I'd hoped the Conservatives would come third. In other words, not even official opposition, and then they are truly in the wilderness. But, I mean, this is almost as big as Blair's. But the fun fact is that they only won 30% of the vote. But that's their election system. They chose it.
The Tories.
Yeah, no,
No,
the
the
Labour.
Labour.
Oh, Labour, yeah.
Labour
Yeah.
whipped them, but 30% of the vote. But hey.
I know. But to be honest, I don't know, Keir, he's so boring.
But maybe that's exactly what Britain
isn't
needs
that what we
after
want?
years of absolute
There's no personality
chaos in the
there. I
Conservative
don't know.
Party.
But isn't that what we want? Boring. It's what our politicians should be.
We've got central bankers who are boring, you know. You want a little personality. You want a statesman or statesperson, stateslady, whatever it is.
I
You
think
want
he misses the guy with the hair.
Boris.
Boris
Boris
Johnson.
had personality.
Boris had personality,
Yeah, I
but I'm
know.
not sure if he had
No,
governance skills. After the break, the week in company. Stay with us.